You probably clicked this video because you're tired of being stuck in Clash Royale, tired of facing the same decks, tired of losing to players who seem like they know exactly what they're doing while you're left frustrated, thinking you just don't have the right cards or the right luck. But let me tell you something that might surprise you. The reason you're not climbing isn't your cards, and it isn't bad luck. It's your mindset, your habits, and your approach to the game. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how you can completely transform the way you play Clash Royale as a free-to-play player without spending a single cent while actually enjoying the grind instead of hating it. Because here's the truth, Clash Royale isn't pay to win, it's pay to accelerate. Spending money might make you get cards faster, but it doesn't make you smarter. It doesn't give you better placements, and it doesn't teach you discipline. That's something you build. So today I'm giving you the blueprint, the way to build your skills, your deck, your patience, and your confidence, so you can finally break out of that cycle of frustration. Let's start with the number one mistake, chasing meta decks. Everyone does it, right? You see a pro using some deck on YouTube, you copy it, you play 3 matches, you lose 2, and you immediately rage switch to something else. That habit alone destroys your progress. Here's why. Clash Royale isn't about the deck you use, it's about how well you know it. If you switch decks constantly, you never build the muscle memory, the placements, or the matchup experience that actually make you win. I'll give you an example. Imagine you're using Hog Rider Cycle. At first, you'll lose a lot to buildings, Cannon, Tesla, Bomb Tower, you name it. But if you stick with the deck, you'll slowly learn how to outcycle those buildings, how to pressure in both lanes, how to bait out their answers. That knowledge doesn't come from watching one video, it comes from playing dozens, maybe hundreds of games with the same deck. That's how pros become dangerous, not because their deck is special, but because they've mastered it inside and out. So the first rule I want you to commit to is this. Pick a deck you enjoy and stick to it for at least one full season. Don't change it unless you absolutely hate it. Now let's talk about upgrades, because as a free-to-play player, this is life or death. You don't have the luxury of upgrading every card. You need to invest carefully, and that means upgrading the core of your deck first and ignoring everything else. Don't waste gold on random cards you don't play. Don't get baited into upgrading something just because it's shiny and new. Focus. Every upgrade should be intentional, because the higher your core cards get, the more consistent your deck becomes. And consistency is what carries you in long grinding sessions. Let's move to the single most important skill in Clash Royale, Elixir management. I can't stress this enough. Most players lose not because their deck is bad, but because they don't understand Elixir traits. If your opponent spends 5 and you defend with 7, you're now behind. They'll build bigger pushes, and you'll constantly feel like you're drowning. The key is learning to defend efficiently. Ask yourself, what's the cheapest way to stop this? Can I kite instead of overcommitting? Can I use a card that gives me counter push value instead of just blocking? Over time, you'll start noticing patterns, like how skeletons can completely shut down mini P.E.K.K.A for just 1 elixir, or how an Ice Spirit plus Tower can stop a Hog for almost no cost. These small wins add up, and suddenly, you're the one controlling the tempo. Now here's something nobody tells you. Clash Royale is just as much about psychology as it is about mechanics. Think about tilt. Every player has tilted before. You lose 2 games, you get angry, and you keep playing, hoping to win it back. But because you're tilted, you're not focused. You're making bad plays, you're rushing pushes, and you're basically handing your opponent free wins. The best players know how to control tilt. They step away, they breathe, they stop after 2 or 3 losses. And this isn't just about avoiding frustration, it's about building consistency. Climbing isn't about winning 10 games in a row once, it's about winning slightly more than you lose over hundreds of games. If you can avoid tilt, you'll climb naturally because you'll stop giving away free losses. Here's another mental trick. Don't think of matches as win or lose, think of them as data. Every time you play, you're collecting information. How did your opponent respond to your Hog? Did they use Tesla early? Did they hold on to their log? Did they always push opposite lane? If you start looking at games as lessons, you'll improve 10 times faster. Now let's talk about matchups, because this is where free-to-play players often give up. You face a hard counter and think, well, I can't win this. But that's the wrong mindset. There is no truly unwinnable matchup. There are just difficult ones. If you're up against Golem, you can't sit back and let them build their dream push. You have to pressure the opposite lane and force them to split their elixir. If you're against log bait, you can't waste your log on the first goblin game. You have to be disciplined and save it for barrel. If you're against lava hound, you can't overcommit defending air. You need to push when they invest in the back. The truth is, every deck has a weakness, and your job is to find it. That's how pros beat their bad matchups. They play differently, smarter, more disciplined. And that's what you can do too. Let's dive deeper into placements, because this is the technical skill that separates average players from great ones. Clash Royale is a game of tiles. One tile too high, and your Tesla doesn't pull. One tile too late, and your troops get splashed. This is why practice is everything. Spend time in training camp or friendly battles just practicing placements. Learn how to activate King Tower with Tornado. Learn where to drop troops to Kite Giants, Balloons, or Royal Giants. These micro skills are what win you games. They don't make flashy highlights, but they're the foundation of consistency. Without them, you'll always feel like you're losing to unfair pushes, when really you're just misplacing. Now, let's talk about turning defense into offense, because this is where games are truly won. Average players defend, then reset. Great players defend, then counterpush. Every troop that survives your defense is a resource. If your musketeer survives with a sliver of health, support it with a tank, and suddenly you have a deadly push for cheap. If your knight survives, pair it with a miner and force them to spend more. These counter pushes are what snowball games in your favor. It's not about making one huge unstoppable push. It's about making smart, efficient pushes again and again until your opponent cracks. And here's some real motivation for you. The free-to-play grind isn't a curse, it's actually a gift. Think about it. Pay-to-win players upgrade everything, but they never learn discipline. They never learn to focus on one deck, to invest carefully, to master matchups with under-leveled cards. You, as a free-to-play player, are being forced to develop skills that money can't buy. That means when you finally max out your deck, you'll be 10 times better than the spender who skipped the grind. That's why free-to-play success feels so satisfying. It's proof of patience, proof of skill, proof that you earned it. And that mindset applies to life too. Discipline, focus, patience, emotional control, the things you learn from grinding Clash Royale will carry over into school, work, sports, whatever you do. Every loss becomes a lesson. Every upgrade becomes an investment. Every win becomes proof that you're improving. So let me end with this. If you're stuck, don't give up. Don't rage quit. Don't blame the game. And don't think you need to spend money to win. You have everything you need to climb. You just need to commit. Pick your deck, upgrade wisely, master your placements, learn your matchups, manage your tilt, and treat every game like practice. Over time, you'll notice you're calmer, smarter, more consistent. And then one day, you'll look back and realize you're not stuck anymore. You're climbing, you're winning, and you're doing it all for free. That's the beauty of Clash Royale. It's not just a game of cards, it's a game of growth. And if you stick with it, you'll prove to yourself that patience and discipline always win in the end.